Our dear listeners, welcome to another episode of Lead Talks, the podcast where we explore how a well-skilled leader should behave. I'm your host, Nilgyun Choshkun, and my partner, Refano. In today's episode, we're diving into three key leadership concepts: building trust, mastering negotiation, and understanding status. These are important skills that every leader should have. In case that they do not have those skills, their bond with their coworkers is in danger. Over this episode, you, as our valued listener, will be hearing our insights about importance of these skills in a leader. So sit back, grab a coffee, and let's get started. You're listening to Lead Talks, where leadership happens. Now, let's move on to something we all experience at some point: trust. Trust is one of the most important skills that a leader must have. People cannot live in an environment where they possibly can't trust their leaders. Think about it. Would you ever follow a leader that you didn't trust? Probably not. So, today, we're diving into how leaders build trust and why it matters so much. According to Francis Frey and Anne Morris, trust has three drivers. First off is authenticity. Are you showing up as your real self? And second one being logic. Do your decisions make sense? And third one being empathy. Do you actually care about people you lead? When one of these three drivers wobbles, trust starts to break down. If I were to give an example to a great leader that accomplished on how to gain his employees' trust, that would be Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. With the improving world, Microsoft also has started to work with AI, a technology that many people still don't trust. Why? Because, as Nadella himself points out, AI can feel unreliable. It can make mistakes, spread misinformation, and even raise ethical questions. So what does he do? He commits to earning trust daily, not just in AI, but across everything Microsoft does: cybersecurity, digital safety, and privacy. Whether you're leading a small team or a massive organization like Microsoft, trust is fragile. It can take months or even years to earn, but you can lose it in a single moment. Like Nadella says, you don't get trust for free, no matter how big or successful you are. You got to earn it by showing up, being consistent, and proving again and again that you're reliable, honest, and capable. So if you're listening right now and you're leading a team, you ask yourself this: are you showing your people that they can trust you? Or are you backing up your words with your actions? Because, as Nadella has shown us, trust isn't something you have, it's something you build. Research shows that trustworthiness and guilt proneness are linked with each other. Leaders who has a high guilt proneness level has the most possibility of acting in a way that will honor the people who is trusting them, in order to not let these people down. This leader is most likely to have the responsibility that makes them follow their promises, communicate honestly, and be reliable. It's a powerful insight for leaders. Trust isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up and being someone your team can trust on. That brings us to an important idea from Simon Sinek's TED Talk. Starts with why. Sinek explains that leaders who start by sharing their why build trust much faster. People don't basically will believe in what you do. They will believe in why you do it. When leaders are clear about their purpose, they appear more authentic and inspire confidence. So, how can you as a leader start building trust? Here are three practical strategies about what we've discussed. First, they can be transparent with their team, and they can listen to their workers' concerns and take them into account in a serious way, and make promises to their workers. And they can later follow these promises in a consistent way so that they can build their workers' trust at one action at a time.
Topic 2: Negotiation. In our life, we all had at some point needed to make use of negotiation in order to get what you want from someone. It might be a negotiation with your parents to have the approval of going to a party, or it could be with your employers that to prove that you are worth at working the job of your dream. In either of those ways, some study has shown that the outcome of a negotiation is known in the first 5 minutes of the negotiation. The paper from 2007 of Jared L. Curran gives us three measures that allow to know the positive outcome of a negotiation in the first 5 minutes. Those three measures being the activity level, the mirroring, and the engagement. Those three things are the only trinity of winning a negotiation quickly. So, in order to get what you want from someone, you must always talk in some way without plugging the talk time of the other person into view, meaning that there should be no blank into the conversation. Mimicking or mirroring the behavior of the person you're negotiating with has been in a lot of the case positively correlated. What this means is that if you mimic small behavior of the person in front of you, they have a better chance to like you and thus give you a positive outcome of a negotiation. Engagement is another important variable, and this one is measured by the interaction between the two parties. If you are each other asking questions to understand the other people's side, it is likely that the negotiation will have a positive outcome. If there are things to do, there are things, of course, not to do. And prosodic emphasis is one of them. People that show a high degree of variation into their voice has proven to get worse results than people that control that aspect of their speech. Meaning that if you want to get something from someone, you should always be in control of your speech. The podcast of Adam Grant, The Science of the Deal, gives us a further insight into negotiation. It gives multiple tactics in order to achieve our objective. One of those techniques is to give multiple offers to the people you're negotiating with. If you give them a range, they're more likely to choose in the range rather than if you just give a number. Of course, negotiation depends mostly if you are worthy of getting what you're asking for, and it is very important to know your worth in that case. A good way to negotiate with people is to be what we call a collaborative negotiator. Collaborative negotiators are people that help the other party in order to get what they want, meaning that they always find a common ground and thus the outcome of the negotiation is mostly certain at every case. In order to help you understand better, let me put up a little situation. You are a model employee and your results of your previous month are very good and promising to the point where your manager really likes you and respects you. Now you have every card in hand to strike and get what you want. So let's suppose you get the opportunity of having a meeting with your manager. In order to put chance on your side, you should talk with him and interact as much as possible without crushing him with questions. You must understand what he is looking for. Mimicking his behavior is a good way to make him like you even more and thus make him proud of telling you what he wants. Once you understand what he wants, you must find a way to get it for him and at the same time get what you want. And let's say you want a raise. You can, for example, propose to him to take a more leader behavior in order for him to have a little bit less work. For convenience, let's say he accepts and asks you how much you want. Now is your chance. You should not give a precise number, but rather a range of options he can pick from. For example, you can say between 4,000 and 500 euro. It is very unlikely that he will give you 4,000, but it is more likely that he will give you something like 4,200 or 4,300. It's more to be expected. You should not see negotiation as winning a battle, but you should rather see it as solving a problem with someone. Topic 3. Status. One of the main leadership tools of a leader is what people think of them and how people respect them as a human being. That is why one very important aspect of a leader is his status. The status is not something you can get from one day to another. It's built on a daily basis based on the effort of the individual to reach that one goal of doing things well. Thanks to the article from Anderson 2001, we have an insight on how to develop status and avoid losing it. And the first thing that determines status is actually extraversion. It might just be the most important component of the status is to have that aspect of personality that is ongoing with people and that is willing to talk to them. Individual and group respect and love people that can put themselves in front of the pack without being scared, and that is why extraversion is so important. It shows that you are confident in your ability to talk to people, and if you talk to people, they are more likely to like you and adore you. Another important component of status is physical attractiveness, and sadly this one cannot truly be trained and the game is rigged from the start. You could always have facial surgery, but that is very expensive and might not be reliable as people think. But there is way to counter that. If you're not really physically attractive, you can also put yourself on a good day. For example, you can always wear nice clothes, you can wear a nice fragrance or smile more. It will make you more attractive. Sure, you will not be physically attractive, but your confidence will make you more attractive. So that is very important. If you want to make people think you're attractive, you should be confident as much as possible. And in order to be confident, you should make things that make you confident. So wear a nice fragrance, wear nice clothes, and being okay with yourself is the best way of obtaining that. With that being said, there are things to avoid, like neuroticism, which is an aspect that can make you lose your status very quickly. If you are sticking for status, you should thus avoid getting into negative emotion as much as possible. You should constantly stay strong and confident not to lose your stature on the way to your goal. So heads up, stay strong, and you will achieve great things as a leader.
As an example to this topic can be Steve Jobs, one of the greatest minds in the world. He is known for his creativity in the industry of technology. But his story with status has its ups and downs. When the Apple was at its peak point, everyone in the world saw him as the man with the great vision for the future. Therefore, he had succeeded to gain status among his team. His bold ideas and confidence commanded attention. And even though he wasn't always easy to work with, his results spoke for themselves. As in many real life examples, Steve Jobs also had his down in his career. And that started not because his ideas or creativity in any way, but it was based on the leadership style, which had become increasingly rigid and confrontational. While he was undeniably competent, he struggled with empathy, difficult and sometimes disrespectful. This led to growing tension between Jobs and Apple's board of directors, and in 1985 he was fired from his own company. That's such a powerful example of how leaders can lose status. Even when they're brilliant, competence alone isn't enough. You need to earn people's respect and trust through how you treat them.
Being a good leader is not about being good at one thing. It's about having a tool set of people and social skills at your disposal. In this episode, we dive down into trust, and we saw that in order to build it, you need to be authentic, logic, and empathic, and this quality comes in for individuals such as Satya Nadella. We also took a closer look to the art of negotiation with its many facets, and we saw that the outcome can be very quickly determined if you are mirroring the behavior of your interlocutor and engaging with them, and that the communication is active. We also saw that negotiation is more about problem solving than winning an argument. At the end of the podcast, we talk about status and the different aspects that make people have a nice status. And we saw at the end with Steve Jobs that even if you are brilliant, if you lose your status, you can lose everything. This episode of Leadtalk is done for today. Thank you for listening.